We'd like to acknowledge tonight before we begin our session that we are situated on the traditional land of the Anishinaabe people. The Anishinaabe include the Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi nations, collectively known as the Three Fires Confederacy. We are dedicated to honoring Indigenous history and culture and committed to moving forward in the spirit of respect and reconciliation with all First Nation, Métis, and Inuit people. So throughout tonight's presentation, we're going to talk a lot about kind of these transition timelines, what you can expect at different times of the year. You'll notice that we are going to kind of just touch base quickly right from January onward. We acknowledge that we are in March, so we will kind of focus a little bit more on that section, as well as the services and supports that are going to be available to you. When we're thinking about our child transitioning to school, it can be really exciting, but also a little bit scary. And we're just hoping to alleviate some of those concerns and answer any questions that you might have tonight. So let's talk a little bit about what's happening in that January-February timeline. So what we see in that time frame is that a projection sheet is provided to school boards with the projected number of children transitioning into each school with any identified needs. All this is really doing is giving a snapshot into each child's support needs, and it begins to identify and prepare the school for what they might need to help with and get ready for in terms of school for the next school year. As we move into March, resource consultants and infant and child development workers are meeting with families to complete the student profile. This provides each school board and school with an overview of individual needs, supports in place, additional resources available, and the level of support that your child might need anticipated for dressing, eating, and toileting. It also provides some information on some safety needs, some self-regulation, as well as a little bit of accessibility. The completed student profile is then shared with each school board, which is kind of what we're doing right now. And the information that's obtained through that student profile will help when they're developing classroom groups, requesting EA support for classrooms, and ensuring that the building will meet the needs of the incoming students. So this month, you can also start to watch out for some kinder readiness programs that are happening alongside your area.
Hello, everybody.
And I'll pass it off to Corey.
Hi, everybody. My name is Corey Patton. I'm a preschool services supervisor for Empower Simcoe, and I'd like to chat a little bit with you about early on child and family centers. If you visited any of our centers already, you'll know lots of this great stuff. But if you haven't, it's a great spot to do some practice and getting ready for school. So early on child and family centers exist across the province. It's a provincially funded program through the Ministry of Education. So it allows us to provide a range of free services for children up to their 6th birthday and their parent or care provider. We do lots of great stuff. We play, we offer activities, we have those messy crafts and sensory activities that maybe you don't want to get out at home, or we've got some toys and some things that maybe you don't have at home. And a great opportunity for children to play with other children and to work on those social skills and some of those things that are really important for us when we move into kindergarten. All of our staff in any early on child and family center are qualified professionals. They're early childhood educators with a ton of skills. So not only do we support your children to play and to support you to build great play relationships with your child, but we also are experts in our community. So we can support you with any information that you might need. We can connect you with resources, and we are developmental experts. So if you have questions about your child's development, we can help you with that too. All of our programming is based on something called a document called How Does Learning Happen? So we focus on four pillars of development. So we look at belonging, engagement, expression, and well-being. Everything we do feeds into this sort of thinking. I mentioned that we do developmental screening. We have a number of tools. We've got a tool across the county called the Look-See that you can use, you can engage with. We can help you to engage with it. If you have any questions about how your child might be doing, we also have, and some of them have already started, we have a program called Getting Ready for Kindergarten that happens at centers across the county, where you can sign your school-age child up. You would participate for 4 sessions where your child is in a bit of a classroom setting with other children. They're supported by facilitators. And then the grown-ups get to hang out with another facilitator and do a little bit of learning about what might be important for you to think about while you're helping your child get ready for school. So you can register for those programs. They are pre-registration. If you're not able to attend or there isn't a program in your community that works for you in terms of your time, not to worry. Early ons in general are the place to go. We naturally work on school readiness all the time. And if you have specific questions about getting ready for school or some strategies that you might be able to use at home, just chat with a facilitator when you're there. So I mentioned that those early on child and family centers are located across Simcoe County. There are 4 agencies that provide early on services. Empower Simcoe is one of them. All 4 agencies, one of which is French language services. We all work together to ensure that our staff get the best training, that they are all well supported, and then we're providing similar services, regardless if you go to Alliston or Aurelia or Barrie or Collingwood, you're going to get the same level of excellent service and supports for your child. Those can be found. You can go online to register for a program. The registration process can look a little bit tricky if you've never been before. So I would encourage you, if that, don't let that be a barrier. Drop by one of our programs and we can give you a hand.
So this brings us kind of into this April timeline, which is really exciting, that those getting ready for kinder programs are still going to be running. Early on programs are still going to be operating, so please drop in. And as we move into April, our early intervention team members are going to be starting conversations with families about transitional program plans. So transitional program plans are reports that are written by members of the early intervention team, documenting your child's present development, identified goals that you and your child care program or you have at home for your child, as well as goals, and really focusing on the strategies recommended by your early intervention team to achieve those goals in different areas of development. This really highlights and focuses on your child's strengths, what they're interested in, transition supports that are working now, and team recommendations are all detailed within this document that's provided to the school team. These strategies can be used immediately to promote a successful school transition, and our hope is that this document is really a great starting point to ensure that your child has the best possible start in their transition to school in September. These reports may also support the school in developing an individual education plan if that's something that your child might need. And families are provided with these transition program plans and are encouraged to share these directly with the school team. This supports you building a really great relationship with the members of the school that are going to be your child's team and the people that you go to going forward. So what's really important about these to know is that you are in complete control about who gets a copy, but they are really great detailed reports that can be shared with the school team. And then as we move into May and June, a school transition meeting might be something that makes sense for you and your family. School transition meetings are scheduled for you to have an opportunity to share your visions, concerns. It allows you to highlight an opportunity to highlight the strengths of your child and to really develop a plan to accommodate their needs with the school. School staff might also take this time to discuss and clarify any recommended strategies that are detailed within those transition reports we just talked about. And parents with support from the resource consultant or infant child development worker can share information on behalf of the whole early intervention team and discuss any information that's located inside those plans. This meeting also provides an opportunity to clarify referrals and next steps and talk about what supports are happening from the early intervention team and allows for the family to ask the questions and start to build that relationship with the school.
Good evening. My name is Tamara Hannon, and I'm the Family Services Supervisor with Empower Simcoe. So I'm here to first speak about the Entry to School program through the Ontario Autism Program, or OAP. So in our area, the Entry to School program is provided through the York Simcoe Autism Network. We call ourselves YSAN, and we are a partnership of agencies that came together to plan and provide programs offered to families by the OAP in York Region and Simcoe County. So if you have questions about this program, please reach out to YSAN directly so we can speak to your individual scenario. And I'll provide that contact information shortly. Next slide, please. Can you jump to the next slide? Thank you. The Entry to School program is funded by the Ministry of Children, Community and Social Services. There is no additional cost to families. In order to participate, the child must have a diagnosis of autism spectrum disorder. They have to be registered with the Ontario Autism Program. They must have received an invitation from their Access OAP portal, and they have to be between the ages of 3 to 6 years old as of December 31st of the year that they would be entering school. And they have to be entering school either kindergarten or grade 1 for the first time. So children are not eligible if they're already receiving core clinical funding or if they've already started attending school. So there are 2 phases to the program. The first phase is a group-based skill building program. This is delivered by a multidisciplinary team with expertise in early childhood development, early learning environments, autism spectrum disorder, applied behavior analysis, and early intervention. The focus is on building skills in 6 areas. They're in communication, play, social interaction, functional routines, behavioral self-management, pre-academics, learning, and attention. So this is a drop-off program. It's offered twice a year. Depending on the time of year and the location, it may be offered for 4 months or 6 months. Program hours are 9 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. and are up to 5 days a week. Our most recent cohort started March 3rd and will be completed at the end of August. So there is a registration deadline for the current cohort of April the 16th. During the intake process, families will be informed of what programs are offered in their areas and at what times and other site information available. So the group program is then followed up by up to 6 months of in-school consultation. And during that time, an Entry to School team member will work with the family and with the school transition team. And through a consultative service model, they can attend meetings, complete observations, and provide strategies and resources to the school team. During both of these phases, with parental consent, Entry to School team has the ability to collaborate with your early intervention team as well. And lastly, the Entry to School program is one of several programs that are offered through YSAN. So if you're interested in learning more, we encourage you to visit our website. If you want to register or speak in more detail with someone about your family's situation and goals, please reach out and contact the intake team. There's also on the website video that you can watch about Entry to School for more information, and there's a fact sheet you can get as well. And that's it for me. I'll pass it along. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. It's Marsha Walker here. I work for the Simcoe County District School Board, Early Years and Child Care Coordinator. Within our schools, we do have before and after school programs. They operate in most schools and are licensed by are provided by licensed child care operators. These high quality programs provide care for children before and after the regular school day, and in some locations on PA days, winter break, March break, and summer holidays. Resource consultants support the licensed childcare system, including these before and after school programs. And these consultants regularly visit the programs and they discuss any challenges and build on strengths and share resources to support the program as a whole. If you are interested in a before and after school program, please contact the childcare agency that is listed as the operator in your school to register for the program directly with the third-party childcare operator. And just a quick note that registration before June 30th is strongly recommended. And as you can see here on the slide, the list of the licensed childcare providers are to the left or to the right of the slide here.
Thank you, Marcia. Throughout the next part of this presentation, safety, toileting, and transportation will be addressed along with some frequently asked questions about school. We encourage you to continue to use the chat and ask any questions you might have for the presenters. School boards from across Simcoe County will provide you with specific information about their schools. And should you have specific information that arises, again, please take time to write those down and reach out to your resource consultant or infant child development worker, or keep them in a safe place to ask at your transition to school meeting. We will also take a look at some of the additional resources that may be available from some other agencies, along with some community resources.
Good evening,
and
everyone.
I will pass it off to Jacqueline.
Thank you, Megan. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jacqueline McBride. I'm a special education consultant with the Simcoe Muskoka Catholic District School Board, where I have the privilege of serving a number of school communities across the region. And among all the things that I'm responsible for, I do support school teams with transition planning. So it's a privilege to be here tonight. We just want to highlight that in all the local school boards in the region that we take a wraparound approach to supporting students. And we want to highlight the importance of families as a partner. We recognize that you are the expert on your child and your role as part of the school team is both valued and deeply appreciated. So following registration, we encourage you to connect with your RC, who will then support you in connecting with the school to set up that transition meeting. And our school teams are very much looking forward to meeting with you, to sharing with you, and to connecting with you every step of the way. We're here to help. In terms of safety and well-being, there are a number of things that we do at our school to support staff and students. In terms of, safety and hygiene and those sorts of things, we just want to make note that currently masks are optional to be worn. But if your child chooses to wear a mask or you want them to wear a mask, we welcome that too. We just want to encourage everyone to be safe and comfortable in all of our schools. Children are encouraged to practice good hand washing hygiene, and just wanting to make note that we follow the guidelines set out by the Simcoe Muskoka District Health Unit and the Ministry of Education, which are both linked here on the slide. And guidelines that are in effect today are not necessarily what will be in place in September. So our respective school boards are constantly in contact with the health unit to get the most up-to-date information. In terms of safety planning, your child's safety is our utmost priority, and it's important at those transition meeting to discuss any safety concerns you may have with the school team. Some children may have, additional needs to be addressed, and they might need additional support to adjust to kindergarten. So school teams may address these through a variety of accommodations. So things like additional supervision, stop signs being posted in classrooms throughout the school. Sometimes there are alarms or bells on doors. Most kindergartens students are playing in a fenced play yard. Where needed, hand-in-hand transitions could be provided. We look at social narratives, positive behavior support plans, and reinforcement systems. If needed, an individual education plan can be created with a goal to support safety. And of course, those students who require a medical plan, we can work with you to create that document. So where a student's behavior poses an ongoing risk of injury to self and others, a plan for safety may be developed under the direction of the principal to support the student. So that might be a behavior support plan or a safety plan, depending on the needs of your child. So these support plans can be developed at any time and they are reviewed regularly. So these are things that you can certainly talk to the school team about. In terms of toileting and readiness, it's important to promote independence in the washroom before your child begins school. Again, at that transition meeting, discuss your child's anticipated level of support required regarding toileting, and then the school can prepare accordingly. In cases where children require initial or ongoing support with toileting needs at school, accommodations may include visual prompting, verbal prompting and reminders, time toileting schedules, and full support delivered in an accessible washroom and or the use of a change table as required. Again, these are all based on the individual needs of the children that we welcome into our schools. And just to clarify who supports children with toileting needs, that would be an educational assistant in the classroom. So in all kindergarten classrooms across all school boards, there is a classroom teacher, a designated early childhood educator, also known as a DECE, and then an educational assistant, EA, may be assigned to the classroom, depending on the needs of the children within the classroom. So if they have attendant care needs, like toileting, feeding, or dressing, or if they have safety needs, there may be an educational assistant assigned to the classroom. So that would be the person supporting your child with toileting if that was needed. And in terms of the supplies, parents are the ones who provide the diapers or pull-ups and wipes. And change of clothes is also great to send to school too. We encourage you to send lots, and maybe like in Ziploc bags where you write your child's first and last name on them, and lots of change of clothes right down to the socks and underwear, full outfit, because it's not only toileting accidents that happen at school. Kids have a lot of fun at school, and sometimes fun can be messy. So having a change of clothes is always a good idea. And I believe, is this me or Shannon? I believe.
Hi, it's me.
Thank you, Shannon.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Shannon Thompson. I am Jacqueline's counterpart in the public school board, which is Simcoe County District School Board. And a lot of the things I'll be talking about are really common to all the school boards. We have 5 school boards in Simcoe County. So transportation is one of those things that's common to everyone. If you're wondering if your child might be eligible for riding the big school bus, or if you're in the walk zone, or even what school your catchment area is, here's my tongue twister, Simcoe County Student Transportation Consortium. The website, if you have a piece of paper, jot this down. The website has lots of information, including, what catchment area your student is in. Our walk zones are 1.6 kilometers away from your school. So if you're in a walk zone, you won't be eligible for transportation. But it can be tricky to figure out whereabouts those lines are. And for some people who are looking for an out of area application for a school that's not necessarily in your catchment, it's important to note that transportation isn't provided to those out of area schools. As well, approval based on a case-by-case basis may not be confirmed until the middle of September. So plan on enrolling in your local catchment, again, in whatever school board you're intending on sending your child. This website will give you the information you're looking for. And for little ones coming into school for the first time, the Simcoe County Student Transportation Consortium has put on a couple of videos on YouTube, and I checked just today to make sure they're still there. There's a parent video on YouTube, there's a student video, there's a safety video, and then there's a generic kind of riding the bus for the first time video. So if your little one is nervous or excited about going to school, they can get a little bit of that experience via YouTube. So I just went to YouTube and I put in SCSTC First Rider Program, and you'll see those videos there. Excuse me. Next slide, please, Megan. If you're wondering about specialized transportation, Unless approved by a superintendent for specialized transportation, all students who go to their home school in the walk zone, like I said, will be walking or riding a regular school bus. In some cases, depending on the number of children riding the bus, it might be a smaller bus or one of those really large ones that we see every morning and afternoon. In some instances, like I said, specialized transportation can be provided for students with exceptional needs, and that might be a van or wheelchair accessible bus. Eligibility is based on confirmation that your child cannot ride the regular school bus or walk safely with an adult due to a particular disability. And there is a doctor's form, a doctor's note that can be completed to support that. And it may be reviewed annually unless there is something that's permanent or there is a specific physical disability in which we wouldn't expect those needs to change. If you have some special needs for your child in the van, which might be a harness or a booster or a child lock, all of those questions about transportation, you can bring those to your transition meeting. So just like any questions about safety or about toileting readiness, all of those questions, we speak in general terms here in this video, but we really want you to take those questions to your next school family. They're going to be the ones who can speak specifically to your school building, and they're going to be the ones who are going to support setting up transportation for your family, for your child. Again, I'm going to speak a little bit broadly about kindergarten programs. This is a slide that just shows some elements on the Simcoe County District School Board, but any of your school boards will have a public website, and you'll be able to search kindergarten features on your school board's website. So like I said, there are 5 different school boards, and on those websites, you'll see things like how to register, what you might need to bring for registration. In our case, and I think in many cases, there's an online registration, but you may be asked to come in and bring things like proof of address and things like that. So that information is going to be on your website. I'm hoping that many or most have already registered. It's really important that we register as early as possible so your school team, can begin communication. You'll also find information about orientation events. These are really, really important. They happen in May and June, and they actually invite you in to be in a kindergarten class and do some activities, and you get free stuff. I mean, I want to go for the free stuff, but you'll actually get to have the feel of being inside a kindergarten class, which is pretty special, and maybe even meet the teachers for the next year. Again, those happen in May and June, and you can find out information about the individual schools' orientation events on the public website. There's also different resources to help kind of make kindergarten predictable or exciting in the way of videos and booklets that talk about tips for getting ready for school, little things like there's going to be a couple of nutrition breaks per day, and how do you work that into a lunchbox and making sure that your child is as independent as possible with the little containers and so on. So you can get some ideas about how to prep for those nutrition breaks. And again, increasing independence in the washroom is important. Having a child that knows to kind of, flush the toilet and go to the tap and wash and dry your hands, just as important or as independent as possible when they come to September. What to expect in kindergarten, the report cards are called Communication of Learning, and they're broken down into 4 pieces. One's belonging and contributing, self-regulation and well-being, demonstrating literacy and mathematics behaviors, and problem solving and innovation. It's a little bit different from when we went to school, and it just gives you kind of an idea about how those things look in kindergarten. And importantly, there are newsletters that you can sign up for, see what's coming up, and also you can look in past newsletters and see if there are little tidbits that are interesting to you. In the case of any questions about special education, your school team is going to be your best bet about asking for specific transition to kindergarten related for your child into the kindergarten programs. Every school has a set of supports, and every school board has a set of supports. In the case of the public board, you can go onto the website, and I encourage anyone who has questions about special education to do this. Go onto the website and then search under special education. A Parent's Guide to Special Education will break down the supports that are available for your child in the school and then in the school board. So that there are hearing resource teachers and ABA supports and vision resource teachers. There's special ed consultants like myself that might be able to come in and support your classroom team in kind of working out some strategies that might make school experience, a little less challenging in some cases. And also every school has a special education resource teacher, or in some cases multiples. Your admin and Jacqueline mentioned the DECE and EAs. And also there might be a child and youth worker that works in the school depending on where it is. Kindergartens are inclusive, but some school boards offer different placements based on a child's needs. And again, we all strive to have students as in in a regular classroom if possible. Maybe they have different elements of support inside the classroom or outside. And to learn more about the supports in different school boards, then you can look at their special education plans.
Thanks, Shannon. And I'll just speak to kindergarten at the Simcoe Muskoka Catholic District School Board. As Shannon had previously mentioned, the kindergarten program is set up by the Ministry of Education, right? So it's the same curriculum program throughout the province in our publicly funded schools. Here on this page, we have LinkedIn resources here. You can get to our kindergarten webpage and you can find information on registration and resources. There's helpful tips for helping your child get ready for kindergarten and just general information about the program itself. As Shannon mentioned, there are a number of supports within the school and the school board as well, which, we can look at accessing once your child starts school and depending on their individual needs. Those are all resources outside of the classroom or on a referral basis, and everything is done with your consent, of course, as the parent and caregiver. In terms of the main differences, we're still on the first slide. In terms of the main differences with our school board, there are a couple main differences. The first one is we have an inclusion model that goes beyond the kindergarten program. So in our school board, we support children in the context of the regular classroom. We do not have separate classrooms in our school board for children with specific diagnoses. So we're supporting our students in the regular classroom, meeting them where they're at, supporting them in that space, but they do have access to alternate spaces as needed within the school. And again, we can talk about your child's needs on a case-by-case basis and ensure that we have everything set up to meet those needs. But essentially, the big main difference with our school board is that we offer a faith-based education, and this learning is extended throughout the curriculum. So we celebrate our faith in our classrooms and throughout the school environment, and by participating in the liturgical events and celebrations throughout the year. So for those of you who are choosing a faith-based education for your child, we welcome you to check out the school board website or the school website to start the registration process. So in order to complete the registration, in addition to the registration form, there are just a few things that you need to include. The school will need to have proof of address, immunization record, proof of your child's age, direction of tax support, and child or parent's Roman Catholic baptismal certificate. If you or your child do not hold a Roman Catholic baptismal certificate, however, but you're still interested in faith-based education for your child, I encourage you to call the school directly and have this discussion with the principal. All in all, for those choosing our schools, we encourage you, similar to what Shannon was saying earlier, to register as soon as possible so we can get this transition process started for your child. Next slide, please. And here we have linked in our transition planning brochure and our parent guide to special education. So you'll find information about all the supports and services available in our school board and how we support transition planning. Ultimately, our goal is to work as a team with you as the VIP member of that team to develop a successful transition plan for your child. So we look forward to welcoming you to the school for the transition meeting later this spring and together we'll share information and we'll learn about your child and we'll ensure, like I said, everything's in place for their needs. So we'll be looking at supports and services, specialized transportation, equipment, whatever their needs are, we will make sure that they are addressed. So we look forward to meeting you in the coming weeks. Thank you.
Thank you. In addition to our public and Catholic school boards, the County of Simcoe is also honored to have Burkeville Protestant Separate School. This is a junior kindergarten to grade 8 elementary school located in the town of Penetanguishene. So if you're located in this area, you might want to take a look at this school board as an option for your child. Their mission is to encourage all students to achieve their full potential spiritually, academically, physically, and socially. The links that you see here are similar to what the two school boards have already shared. Their student registration link, as well as information on their welcome to kindergarten and more information about their school, their values, and how to get in contact with them will all be located on the website.
Hi, so my name is Angela Heppelston, and I am a bilingual resource consultant with CLH. I do support transition to school for both French and English families, but today I'm going to be talking primarily about the difference between French immersion and French language schools. This is a question that we get asked fairly often, so I think it's important for families to understand the difference. The biggest difference between French immersion and a French language school is that French immersion is designed to teach your child French, and previous experience or exposure to French is not necessarily required. These are essentially English-speaking schools that teach French. It does begin in grade 1. That's also important to note that it's not offered in kindergarten. And entry into the program is determined through a digitally randomized lottery system. So registration does not necessarily guarantee your child a spot in the program. I believe that enrollment is still currently limited to a max of 40 students per site, but you can visit the school board website and you can locate schools within your zone that offer French immersion if you do have any further questions on that. Next slide, please. Okay, so French school boards. So as we mentioned, Simcoe County does have 2 French language school boards with a number of schools across the county. The 2 main school boards are the Conseil scolaire Viamonde, which is the French public, and the Conseil scolaire Mon Avenir, which is the French Catholic. It is important to note that French boards do prefer that your child has previous exposure or experience with the French language. That's the main difference between French immersion and a French school. When they speak about previous experience, that would mean that your child had attended a French-speaking childcare or they have a parent who is fluent in French. Part of their eligibility criteria requires that at least one parent must be fluent in French, and sometimes language testing by the child and the parent may be required prior to your application being accepted. You can always visit the website for both school boards for eligibility criteria, or you can speak with your RC or ICDP worker for any kind of further information that you might require. Okay, so we'll start by talking a little bit about the Conseil scolaire Viamonde. So as mentioned, this is the public school board, French school board. Very similar transition process to as the English school boards. They work using a multidisciplinary team approach. So this would include the exact same transition process support between your RC or your ICDP worker or your child's early intervention team. The same documentation would be completed. Everything would be shared in the exact same manner. An observation visit would be planned, including a school transition meeting to review your child's specific needs for September. This could include a discussion about the transition report, any classroom goals or strategies. You'll be able to discuss toileting, self-help skills, any kind of equipment or specialized transportation. All the same things will be covered at these meetings. So on this slide here, they do list some of the schools listed within our region, depending on where you live. They are located across Simcoe County. The ones listed here are located in Base Borden, Barrie, and Penetanguishene. Okay, if you do have any further questions around registration or eligibility requirements, you can contact the board using the number that's located on this slide. Or you can visit their website and you can find a copy of their parent guidebook. It has welcome to kindergarten information and much more detailed information about their registration process. Again, it is important to note that one parent must be fluent in French in order for your family to meet the registration criteria. And again, please remember that the school may require language testing. Parents often ask, why is this required? It is important to remember that for a French-speaking school, the main difference is everything, all communication is going to be coming to your family in French. Emails, letters from the school, everything will be in French. There's not always translation provided for that, which is why they require one parent to be speaking French. Also thinking into the future for homework, anything coming home communication-wise from the school, it's important to have a parent that can understand that and have that communication with the school. Okay. So the next slides will be discussing the French Catholic School Board. So again, exact same transition process as the public boards, both English and French. They also have a number of locations across the county. Those are listed here. You can see that we have some in Tiny, Collingwood, Orillia, Penetang. There are also locations within Barrie. Yep, on that slide there. If you're not sure, if you're thinking of it and you're not really sure which location you might be eligible for, you can visit the school board's website and they will give you the admission criteria as long as the zoning requirements for that school. If any further support is required, you can reach out to your RC or your ICDP worker and they can certainly help you determine which location would be best for your family and the eligibility criteria for that school. If you do need any help or have further questions completing your application, again, you can always call the number that's listed on this slide and someone would be happy to help you with that. There are links located on all of the websites, and you can also speak to your resource consultant or your ICDP worker if this is something that does interest you. If you do not have a bilingual team member at this time, if you have an English speaking RC or ICDP worker, that's not a problem. Typically, a bilingual person or RC and ICDP worker is located within each area, and team members know that they can come to us for support. So even if your support team doesn't currently speak French, they do have access to French language services, and we are more than happy to help them with that process. Okay, so just talking a little bit more about the Catholic School Board here. So like the other boards, Mon Avenir also has a very similar transition to school support program, which includes the same multidisciplinary team approach. So you'll be offered all the exact same transition supports, including the same documents, document sharing, the observation visit, and the transition meetings like we were discussing. This can help you to plan, like we said, share information or ask questions to support a smooth transition into JK. If you would like any further information on the transition support or services, you can connect with Mon Avenel or any of your local French Catholic schools to request a copy of their Guide to Special Education. I did try to look, and I believe that a PDF copy is still currently not available. So this is something that you would have to contact the school to get. And as always, you can connect with your RC or your ICDP worker, and they can help you to locate your French school. They can help you with completing the online application, or definitely connecting you with the school to get the support that you would require.
Thank you, Angela. For the next part of the presentation, we're going to talk about some of the additional resources and agencies that are available to you and your child once they start school or continue to be available to your child. And with that, I'll pass it off to Children's Treatment Network.
Hi there, my name is Maureen Marcoux, and I am a Community and Family Coordinator in Simcoe County with the Children's Treatment Network. You'll likely hear us referred to as CTN, though. Next slide. So Children's Treatment Network supports over 33,000 children and youth with disabilities and developmental needs in their homes, communities, and schools. We are part of the child development and rehabilitation sector and are funded by the Ministry of Children, Community, and Social Services to serve clients across York Region and Simcoe County. CTN is a one-stop point of entry for everything related to your child's development from birth up until their 19th birthday or graduation from high school, whichever comes first. Smart Start Hub can help you and your child if you live in either Simcoe County or York Region. If you have concerns about their development, no diagnosis or referral is required, or if you're looking for support and services for your child and family. So Children's Treatment Network provides rehabilitation services. Our school-based rehabilitation services consist of the delivery of speech therapy, occupational therapy, and physiotherapy for kids and youth in publicly funded schools to support their functioning and development and to help them fully participate in the school curriculum. So as you prepare for your transition to school, the early intervention team supporting your child will provide you with documentation regarding your child's strengths, needs, and strategies to support them. We strongly encourage you to share relevant information with the school to help them plan to support your child. The more information they have, the better supported your child can be. So once your child's in school, they'll be part of a tiered model of service for occupational therapy and physiotherapy. So this means that every school has an occupational therapist supporting teachers and school staff as well as the students. The support for your child might be delivered in different ways, such as class-wide strategies for many students or individualized support. If your child requires more individualized support, referrals can be made by the school team. If you have any concerns, please discuss your child's strengths and needs with their teacher, and they can share some ideas on the most appropriate options for support. So now the Community and Family Participation Program. This is my program within CTN. We help connect families with each other and their communities. So some of the things that the CFPP does are events. We also compile the online resource center, provide family supports, and equipment loan. Programs and events are a cornerstone of CTN, and while they might seem like just fun and games, they play a crucial role for kids, youth, and their families. By participating in CTN programs and events, families can build knowledge, gain skills, and support their child's development while easing anxiety through support and empowerment. Events can range from inclusive or adapted recreation to arts, STEM, social events, and more. CTN has also recently made a partnership with the Simcoe County District School Board to offer SibShop sibling support programs as an after-school program. To find out about CTN events, you can visit our events calendar on our website and subscribe to our newsletter. The online resource center is available on our website and contains resources and information on lots of different topics, including feeding tips, funding information, summer camp guides, and more. And CTN's family supports are more geared towards caregivers and parents and include monthly webinars, our new closed Facebook group for CTN caregivers, the Envisage support group for new diagnoses, and more other offerings. And our CTN equipment loan program allows families to have access to both therapeutic and recreational equipment. Our equipment loan program guide is available on our website. And to connect with our ELP, you can contact equipment@ctnsy.ca. Next slide, please. And as well, in addition to that, we have our brief resource service, our community learning library and YouTube channel, and our shared client record. So Brief Resource Service, or BRS, it can identify an initial action plan and help families who are waiting for service coordination or preparing for transition. BRS might be used to assist kids and youth with disabilities and developmental needs and their families access funding, camps, respite, and other services. BRS is usually 1 to 3 sessions with a service planning coordinator. Our community learning library and YouTube, they allow families to access free online content on child development and ideas for fun activities you can do at home. And our shared client record is a secure tool that allows authorized professionals from different agencies and organizations working with a child or youth to document and access information all in one system. It reduces the need for families to repeat their stories over and over again and ensures that all team members are on the same page and are informed about what services are being provided. So if you have any questions about your child's shared client record, you can either contact a member of your early intervention team, or you can contact CTN's Health Records Department at healthrecords@ctnsy.ca. Next slide, please. And if anyone has their phone handy and would like to take the snapshot of the QR code right now, this leads you to our website. If you scroll down to the bottom of the page, you will see our subscribe button to receive our monthly newsletters. Thank you.
Hello again. Empower Simcoe is a multi-service, not-for-profit agency supporting people of all ages in our community through a wide range of programs and services. We have a robust website, so do check it out if you're interested in learning about other programs we provide in Simcoe County. I'm going to speak briefly now about the Family Support Program. The program is for school-age children under the age of 18 who have a diagnosis of intellectual disability, also now called an intellectual developmental disorder, and who are living at home with their caregivers. Navigating multiple services for your children takes a lot of time and a lot of coordination. It doesn't necessarily get easier as your child gets older. It doesn't help that these services are ever changing and your child's needs are ever changing. So family support workers help families to know what's available to them and also how to access what's available. In terms of accessing community services, it could be direct and indirect support. It could include home visits, collaborative meetings, resource sharing, and support with making referrals. Families could receive one resource appointment and take what's shared, go off with that information, or they could receive ongoing support for years or anywhere in between. This is determined by the goals that are laid out for the child or youth within the family's discretion as well. So you can find our referral form on our website, either fill it out yourself and email it or fax it into us, or call our program associate directly and they'll assist you to complete the referral over the phone. So the numbers are listed there. Empower Simcoe serves the Barrie, Bradford, and Angus areas, and I'm now going to pass it along to Catalpa, who serves other areas in Simcoe County.
Hi, I'm Nancy. I'm a family resource worker with Catalpa Community Support Services. Catalpa has a variety of programs that we offer for both school-age children and adults. Very similar to what Tamara had just talked about around their family support program. Family Resource Program offers, sorry, you can go to the next slide, Megan. Offers support to families who have children who are school entry up until their 18th birthday. And we are located or have offices in Midland, Collingwood, Aurelia, and Alliston and their surrounding areas. We offer, again, very similar approach to support as Empowered Simcoe. We can offer case management, coordination of services, helping you access resources in your community, funding opportunities, support with school advocacy, and transition planning. If you're interested in learning more or want to make a request for service, you can contact our program assistant, Whitney Moore, and there is her email and her phone number. Also, you might want to check out Catalpa's website. This is just one program that we offer for families, but there's a variety of programs that you can read more about on our website. Thanks.
There we go. So as we continue to kind of move through our transition timeline, we know that September feels far away right now, but it's going to come quickly. In September, it's going to be time for your child to go to school. And as we shared tonight, the more information the school has, the better able they're going to be equipped to support your child and ensure the smoothest transition possible for them into their school team. Your child and infant and child development worker and resource consultant will start to share exactly what their discharge process looks like. They might cry a few tears as they, congratulate you and welcome you off into school. But we'll walk you through all of those details and ensure that you and your child know all about the next steps. So with that, it concludes our presentation tonight. That will be the end of our recording. As we shared, the recording will be shared out with